36 years ago today, at this time, my mother thought that she had a kidney infection. So she ditched her friends who she was supposed to be meeting at the bar, and she went to the hospital. And 3 hours later, she had a baby. So, like, my birthday is tomorrow morning at 2 o'clock. That's, yeah, but like that also means that you should also know this. My mother's birthday is July 10th. She turned 21 11 days before she had a baby she didn't know she was pregnant with. So I'm just like happy that I'm not really, really dumb, you guys. Like, I'll just be quite honest. I'm glad I can spell most words. But it's kind of like indicative of how my family is like you just kind of pop up, show up whenever you want. That's how we do family like events. But I'm not allowed to do that anymore. Does anybody else get along or not get along with their family? No, just me? Cool. Yeah, I don't get invited to family events anymore, you guys. It happened because one Thanksgiving, one of my aunts said a word to describe Black people that I don't use in public. And I said, wow, Aunt Luann, you're a real cunt. And I'm not allowed back anymore. It turns out racism totally okay, but calling it out, not in my family. So I'm the black sheep, which is kind of funny if you think about it. No, but that's the kind of family I have, and it's kind of weird because also today would have been my grandmother's like 79th birthday, which is also kind of fun because I feel like I inherited a lot from her, mostly her bitchiness. Like, that's the number one thing. Like, when my grandmother was like getting really sick, one day one of my aunts was like, Mom, you're being really cranky. And she goes, no, I'm being a bitch. Like, thank you for the self-awareness, Grandma. And like, I also like to think that I've inherited other things from my great-grandparents and grandparents. Like, the number one thing I'm proud of inheriting is, okay, one of my great-grandmothers was married 12 times in the late 1800s. And only 3 of those dudes died, you guys. So I've inherited my sluttiness as well. That's what I'm trying to say here. Kind of funny to me, but no, one of the other things I do love that my grandma gave me was when I was 4 years old, she told me that if I didn't learn how to cook, no man would ever want to marry me. 32 years later, I am very single, but also fat, so you guys figure it out. No. It used to bother me that I was fat, like when I was much younger. But then I moved to England and I met a very attractive man who was into all this. And that's my number one rule is, you guys, if you ever feel bad about something about your body, date somebody who's really into it in just like a weird way for like 6 months. It'll give you the confidence boost you need to get through the rest of your life. Yeah, so that's what I did. I dated a really hot British dude for 6 months. And like, it just gave me weird confidence, which I really enjoy having, but also intimidates a lot of other people. And all this fatness, when we first started dating, his ex-girlfriend told him, I can't believe that you would not want to get back together with me because you'd rather be with that fat bitch. I was like, cool. I can lose weight for free. It's gonna take about $10,000 to buy you a new nose. What's funny is, like, he and I are still friends and we still talk. And last time I saw her, she did get a new nose. And so, who wins? I'm just still fat, she has a new face. I'm just asking the important questions here. No, I do. I like to try to be friends with all of my ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends. Does anyone else try to do that? Woo! Yeah, you're trying to get along with them. But then you find out the reason that they're not friends with their ex-girlfriends anymore is usually because they're crazy. Does anybody else have that problem? That's why I'm almost 36 and single. Is my type, I'm just gonna let you guys know, I like men who are at least 6'2" and have played some form of an athletic thing that provides them with an immense amount of brain damage. People are like, what does that mean? I'm like, football players, rugby players, MMA fighters, that's my type. I like to be the smart one in the relationship. I'm not super smart, so like, I work with it. And then people make fun of me, they're like, what do you mean the smart one? You guys, I dated a guy who asked me how old I was when he was 10, and I said, babe, I'm 6 years older than you. And he goes, yeah, how old were you then? Bitch, couldn't have 10 and 6. He was a football player. All I prayed for while we were together was that he would make it pro, and then I would be in charge of the family finances. Wipe that kid out. No, that's awful. What's bad is I broke up with him and started dating another guy that we all knew. And one day he was like, we can't be together anymore because I'm moving to Europe. And I was like, cool, what part of Europe are you moving to? And he was like, New Zealand. Yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna tell you, I've told that joke in front of football players and no one laughed. I was like, oh wow, I have a whole room full of dudes I could date. It's awful. No, but what's funny is I don't just like to date dumb guys. I also like to, okay, everyone has a stupid friend. I like to make sure I have at least 2 or 3 of those peppered throughout my friend group at any given time. Because it just, okay, example, my friend Taylor, one day we're all talking about movies that we love that have been turned into movies from books. And I said, I think my first one was The Jungle Book, right? Give it up for Baloo. Okay, anyway. She's like, wait, The Jungle Book was based on a book? It's in the fucking title, you guys. The Jungle, yeah, that was a light bulb moment. She's also the same woman. How many of y'all have kids? Nobody? And here has one person in the back. I love that. Okay, well, just so you know, she got pregnant and she had an iron deficiency, and the doctor told her that chewing on ice was a sign of that, which she thought meant that ice was made out of iron. Yeah, I was like, that's not how that worked. I spent an entire lunch hour trying to explain to this girl that when you freeze water, it doesn't magically change into iron. And she still did not believe me. You guys, that's basic chemistry. That's like middle school level chemistry, but yeah. So again, that's how I make myself feel better about being not the brightest person on the planet. And I feel like you gotta give yourself a round of applause for those moments when you are the dumbest one of your friends. Like the time you accidentally put a styrofoam plate on a burner oven. No one's ever. Yeah, that's toxic. I'll just tell you, I've done it. Been there, done that, yeah. Trying to think what else. The latest guy that I've been dating though, I'm just gonna let you guys know, I have to tell you, the thing is, one of the bad things about dating dumb people is when you insult them and then you have to explain to them what you were calling them. When you're like, you fucking troglodyte, and they're like, what kind of rock is that? I'm like, that's a caveman. And then other people are like, you can't just call someone a troglodyte and expect them to know what that word means. And I'm like, you guys, I learned that word from the movie 54. The movie where you see Ryan Phillippe's ass and Mike Myers is drugged out of his head. If I can learn what troglodyte means, we all can. I'm just gonna leave you guys on that. Thank you very much.